It's time to get back to work here on this SciFi Walkway. This is part 2. We've got some more modeling to do, and we've got some pretty basic materials and texturing to do as well. So, all right, let's get to it. Here's the first thing that I want to do. I'm going to come into this guy here, and we're going to look from the side. We're going to box select all of this stuff. We're going to scale this in the Y. We're going to give it a little bit of a slant like that. Now, if I'm lucky, I don't even have to adjust the bars there. This part is what I'm talking about. All right, let's come into here. Make sure we got those selected and scale this in the Y and pull it in a little bit. It's mirrored on the other side, so that's great. I'm going to come to the curve dialog box and have a look at this. I think I'm going to switch this from 0.03 to 0.02 or 0.025. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And then we're going to shift D, look from the side. Let's actually set the origin to geometry there. Yeah, okay. So I'm rotating in the X, aren't I? Well, sometimes late at night we do these things. You do those things? I do. Okay, now we'll scale this to the Z. Get her in there. Let's press the period key to zoom in. Scale it in the Z a little bit more and drop it down. Okay, it's fitting. But what I want to do with this is I want to put one over here. I think I'm going to use this grid line. Let's see how nicely it works. You're too short. Scale these both in the Z a little bit. Let's try this as well. No, I'm not going to get that on the other side yet, but let's see. So these aren't mirrored over. So let's do this. Let's get rid of these. We'll mirror all this stuff in a minute. Let's Shift D, rotate X 90. Come over here. Go into edit mode. Let's scale Shift Z for now. Now scale into Z. Let's see what this looks like if it's on here too. I'm not too worried about a small gap in there. That's not going to really be seen. We're gonna use collection instancing for this to copy it over to keep our polys a bit down. We're gonna have some issues with that too. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. So let's actually group all these together, or join them at least. I don't think there's a problem with that. Okay, and then with that done, let's, well, I don't really need to do that. I'm going to, I got that 3D cursor right there still. I'm going to select that and origin the 3D cursor. And let's mirror these guys over. There we go. Let's mirror those guys over as well. Okay, so we now have that. Cool. Looking at this, I'm going to want to make a couple of changes to the lights, but this is the area that I'm going to be putting those warning stripes in, and so I'm going to need a couple more edge loops because I don't want that graphic of black and orange or yellow stripes to go right up to the edge of the light there. So I'm going to throw in an edge loop here, pull it down, and give myself a bit of room. And that's going to be, pretty good, so that I would have that warning graphic in this area here. I think what I'll do is let's mirror this guy. Let's go into wireframe and 1, and let's box select all of this, delete it, and put a mirror on. I'll turn clipping on so that we can do the same thing on both sides. And what I want to do now is I want to turn off the bevel for now I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna select these edges, just like that. Do the same thing on the other side because of the mirror. And this one, and this one, and this one. Let's create some havoc here. Let's try this. Bevel, I've got number of segments in there. And just to make it look a little nicer. That shouldn't give me a problem with this flat surface. I don't have smooth shading on, so. All right. Now, let's also have a peek under here. I want some lights in here, don't we? So, let's make ourselves a little area in here for a light. So, I'm going to need another edge loop like that, and another one like this, and then I think I might just use this area here. Doesn't have to be overly central or anything. So, what if I just extrude this down a little ways? And let's do the same to these edges here. Control B, pull back. I'll use the same number of segments. It won't be overly visible underneath there, but you'll see a little bit of light, and that's going to be just fine. Cool. All right, 3D cursor is right in the middle. Let's bring some very inexpensive bolts here. We'll consider whether or not we need to. Let's put the bevel back on. As I add more edge loops to this, by the way, I start to lose a little bit of that bevel, that bevel modifier, but I think it's going to be okay for this type of model. 3D cursor right there. Let's put some little inexpensive bolts, relatively inexpensive bolts there. Let's go for 18. I'm not going to see these very up close. Scale it down. G for grab. Pull it up into the corner and scale it some more. Just like that. Period key to zoom in. 8 extrude. Come up in the Z a little ways. E to come in just a bit. So I want to add a bevel. And then close it off with face. Grid fill. Choose as small number as you can. I'm going to try 2. It still closes off okay. Shift Alt and click that edge and Control B. I don't need that many. Roll back to 0, 1. 1 is probably fine. Let's try 1. Shade smooth. Object, set origin to geometry. And bring her down to the surface. It's just going to be like that. So let's take this guy. Let's actually set the origin of the 3D cursor and let's mirror it. Okay. And then let's just copy it, Shift D. Copy it into roughly into there. We can move those if we want to into there. Now I want to have a look at this. Shift H to focus just on that guy. I think I'm going to select this face. Shift S, bring the 3D cursor there. Let's make some kind of little handle. We'll start with the plane. And in edit mode, let's just scale this down. S to scale it. And I'll use these points. Let's scale this in the X. And then we'll select this edge here and go X, delete edges and faces, and that'll leave me with that shape there. Okay. Let's scale this into Y. I'm going to make a little handle. With those points selected, I'm going to go Shift Control B to bevel and pull. And there's 3. I'm going to go for 5. 3, 4, 5. Like that. Back into object mode and convert to curve. And my curves, I'll leave all that the same. I'll just hold Shift as I pull because it moves pretty quick. Something like this, shade smooth, and we'll see what we think of this. one in here. Let's the period key and zoom in. I don't really care if it touches the bottom. You're not gonna, it's not gonna look like it is. I was thinking of along that line. I don't know how realistic it looks, but and I don't know how worth it this is, but maybe I'll bring a 3D cursor there and bring in another circle at 18. Scale it way down. Period key to zoom in. Rotate X 90. Scale it down even further. Push it out so it looks like it's around, up to maybe there. E to extrude, pull it back. Select that edge, E and S, just pull it in. Select this edge and bevel with like 1 or 2. Shade smooth. Now we can try and pull you guys down just a tiny bit. I could do that, and then I could let's set the origin geometry and cursor to selected. My 3D cursor is in the middle of this object. Now take you, set your origin to that 3D cursor, and mirror you to the other side. Now, in order for these to really be seen, I probably have to make them bigger. Let's go into wireframe. Like that kind of thing is what I'm saying. So Alt H, bring everything back. We got a little handle there. We may actually, yeah, that's probably all right. Let's just leave it like that. Cool. Okay. I had in my design some pipes that went along the side. I don't think I want them anymore. I think I want this kind of clean look, just to give you a sense of how this would look in SciFi. All right. So let's get to work on put some materials on this. Just before I do, I think I am actually just going to go select those and go Control 1. And that one doesn't really need it, neither does the other one. To put a subdivision, I'm not going to convert these to a mesh. I'm just going to do a standard render. So I just want these to look a little bit better. And you know, you can see our polys, but I'm going to try just even 2. This just might look nicer. That might be it for the modeling of this. You know, so all right, let's do this. Let's bring in a couple of lights first of all. Point lights. This won't be the final position of these in the render, but let's bring in that light and let's make it 600 and orange. I'll do typical orange and blue. All right, you know what? Just for the fun of it, we'll copy it over here and we'll bring it down a slightly different position, and I'll make this one blue. Before we go any further, let's click on the world here and change the color to black. We'll switch over to here. Okay, look dev, and I'm going to turn on scene lights and scene world. And you know, it looks like that. Let's not forget to come over to here, shadows. Let's turn these to soft shadows. I think I'm just going to do it that way. Before we go any further, let's do this. Ambient occlusion, bloom, and screen space reflections. That's good enough for now. Now let's do one more so I don't forget. Under film, I'm going to switch this filter size to 1.75. And I think that's about all I'm going to be doing for now anyhow. Let's do this. Let's select this bar and come over to materials. Click new. Call this bar. It'll put in the principled BSDF. Let's change the base color to some kind of a yellow that we like. Let's up the metallic. Let's go all the way to 1. And let's leave it at that for now. Let's choose bar. Okay. Let's select this and let's call this base color. And let's drop this down to almost black. Let's try the metallic at 1 as well. And I'm going to be selecting most of this. So I realize I haven't curved that. I'm not sure if I'm going to. I'm going to put these as black as well. And of course these are going to be black. And these are going to be black. Now I'm done with this. We're just getting into it. Let's save our work. Let's do a new material. Let's call it metal. I'm just going to bring that all the way up, and let's put it on these. All right, what's getting it? What's not getting it? You guys. I'm going to make this one no metal. Okay. Good. Okay, let's hide the grate and come in here and select this face. I should get the other one. Let's hit the plus because we already have one material on here, this block, which is not going to stay like this. But because we want to put another material on the same object, I'm going to hit the plus. Let's choose new, and I'm going to call this emission. How do you spell emission? Emission. Close enough. I'm going to, on the surface, choose emission, and I'm going to make this, I'll try 3. I'm going to hit assign, and then we're going to have some lights under there. Alt H, so you'll be able to see some lights. Now I can still move those positions if I want to a little bit. Let's come in here and do the same thing here. Select that face, Shift Alt in that face. On emission, choose assign. And we'll start to see how it's looking here. Let's get in here and make that hazard sign, warning, stripes, whatever we're calling them. I'm gonna click on here, or I'm right clicking on that little dividing line and join those. Okay, so I want to be able to see this. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go Shift A, texture. I'm going to be using a wave texture, and I'm going to send this through a color ramp. That's going to allow me to choose my colors, my black and orange, sharpen it up. Connect that to the base color. Give that a minute to cycle. And you can see I got that there. And I'm going to go Control T of the Node Wrangler enabled. I'm going to make some changes in a second. Let's go back to the materials here. And on here, let's change this. Let's get rid of this for a minute. And this is black. Okay, let's hit the let's just hit the plus and hit new. Okay, and let's call this warning stripes, and it's on this one. I'm going to do that. So let's come back in here. Let's grab this stuff. Let's delete that there. Let's come over here and paste that in there. Send that into you, and we'll come in and we're just going to click assign, and we can start to see the beginning of our wave pattern on here. Now what we're also going to do is we're going to drag these a lot closer, and that's going to sharpen them up. We can adjust the scale if we want, And we're going to start rotating this around. So something like this, and then mess with the scale till we get what we kind of like. Let's see. No, that's not what I want. Maybe. Oh. Where'd you go? Where'd you guys go? All right, well, maybe something like that. And I got black in there, so this guy I'm gonna do as like a yellow. You could color pick these if you want them to be nicer. Do I like that? Do I not like that? And just play around till you get something that you do like. Okay, and then I'm going to select those areas again. So I got them all. Shift S, cursor selected, bring my 3D cursor right in the middle, and I'm going to bring in a plane. Let's go back to modeling, scale it. Now I'm going to grab this edge and pull it down. I'm going to make a little black border on this. Scale this in the X. Okay, say it's a little bit like that. Let's pull it up just a bit for now. Let's get that here. Let's turn that off for a moment. Let's go in it. Let's edit mode, select that face. Let's hit I to inset. Come like this. Okay, looks pretty even. Let's get rid of those faces. Select it. Okay. I'm gonna break it out. I guess I had it as part of that object. Now I can't really see anything, so we will go back to the scene lights. And I am going to turn this to, let's make a new material here. And I just want dark. Let's see what else we want to do with this. And I'm going to shrink wrap this to the surface. So with it selected, I'm going to go to the, I'm pretty close, so modifier, shrink wrap, and with the eyedropper I'm going to choose that. The offset I'm going to choose 0.01. I'm going to be with 0.001. Throw one more zero in there. That's basically what I'm going for. I might, on the materials for this, let's call this just border. I might slide the metallic up quite high. Select this and just bring the 3D cursor to there. Select this thing, set the origin to the 3D cursor, and mirror it across. Nice. All still in the same collection. Oh, well, if these aren't, let's choose M and send it to collection. Now, at this point, let's start calling this walkway. So everything is not yet in the walkway. Selected M, send it to walkway. Those two things. Select those, M, send them to walkway. I want everything in there so that I can make sort of duplicates of this thing along the way. Now, what else have we got to do here? Now, I'm finding these a little wide, the same width as the lights. It's a personal choice, so I think I want to try to do something about that. I'm just debating about whether or not it'll look any good if I just do this I'm starting to do that to the edges. That's okay. Let's turn off scene lights again. Let's turn off scene world. Yeah, okay. It was a hard surface, so. Let's do this. Should be okay. Just any way I like it, you know. I think I would like that better. A little bit narrower. Maybe even just like this for now. This is all one collection in my scene right here called Walkway. Now what's this? Oh, let's make sure we got that in there. And then I have my lights there. And I've got my lights. I'm going to create a new collection. Collection 2. And I'm going to call this camera lights. I like to put all that stuff in a separate one so I can just easily close it up if I need to. Hide those. And there's my walkway. Okay, so let's save. Here's what we're going to do. Let's get rid of that for now. I want to make a copy of this. I'm at 60,000 vertices, 58,000 faces. If I just select this and I go Shift D, I've gone to 120,000 vertices. I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is, this is called Walkway. All right, I'm going to Shift A, come down to Collection Instance, and choose Walkway. I'm going to make an instance of this, sort of like in Flash. And my vertices have stayed essentially the same. And I have a copy here. The problem is, you see these axes here? All right, this acts like an empty. The center of this object or whatever, the origin, is now at these empties. If I move this, I move the whole thing. This makes snapping very, very difficult. So I'll show you. If I turn on snap to say edge, it doesn't want to snap. It snaps this empty at the center of this instance to the edge, and it makes it very difficult for snapping. Now, you can adjust the position of this, but I find it's not very exact. I mean, you can put in numbers, but you got to figure out the numbers for this, and it's just not worth it. And so what I'm going to do is I am simply going to turn off snapping, and I'm going to push them together, and I'm going to line them up as best I can. That is that. And it's going to end up looking like this. And it's going to be the same each time. Okay, so now I'll go Shift A, Collection Instance, Walkway. I'll get another one. I'm going to look from the side. I mean, you know, you can try your very best to get them to just barely touch, or just make sure they make contact. And I've got 3. All right, I can go for one more. So maybe ever so slightly off. Let's turn on the scene world. We got scene lights on. So turn them back on. So this is what I need to do with my lights. This is the blue one. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this guy. I might bring you down there, and I might even copy the other one. There it is. Just something like that. Okay, now what I wanted to show you is if I was to select, let's say, those which are mirrored there, eh? I am in the walkway, the original walkway. I'm going to come into edit mode. Am I in? No, I'm in. I want to select the piece, Control L. I want to Shift D to copy or duplicate. Slide it over here. Let's P to break it out. So I've got these guys here. I'm going to get rid of the mirror. I'll pull this one into the middle here. Set the origin of geometry on that. It's pretty good. And Shift D to duplicate it and bring one down here. You'll notice that all the other ones also get inherit that because I'm working within that collection, which is a really cool thing. You know, so if I was to select, say, the handle, you know, if I move it, watch this one here. Okay, so whatever changes I make to this one will be propagated down the other ones with like an array. We may be very close to what I wanted to do. I actually just like it like this with the black, but I'll go ahead and I'll do what I was going to do here as well. Right? And what I was going to do is simply, let's get this as I'll put that on so you can see a little bit better. I was going to do this material that I used for the other platform stuff. Scratches. I'm not sure about the dents, but the scratches anyhow. So I would need a bump, a color ramp, Voronoi, and the mapping object. So bump, color ramp, and Voronoi. So let's do that. So we're going to add a vector bump. We're going to add a color ramp. So that's under converter, color ramp. The color is going to go into height. We're going to add Voronoi texture. That's going to take the color into the FAC. I'm going to hit Control T and use object to vector. We can go ahead and plug this into the normal, and we will see how she looks right there. I'm going to pinch these a little bit together. All right, I'll get this kind of effect, and then we're going to change over here distance to Minkowski and change this to crackle, and we can start to see some stuff there. The scale, let's try 40. I used 40 in the past. It's looking a little crazy. All right, let's come over here though and use a pretty small strength, like 0.7 and 0.05. Let's see what that's like. Still too much. So let's see what I used here. Okay, 40, that's fine. 0.1 and 0.005. So let's go for that 0.1. Okay, and 0.005. You know, you still may think that's too big, and it might be. It looks like a sort of a hard plastic, which I like, and it's on the grating as well. And I'm not going to put it on the decals. I'm going to have them sort of like a smooth decals on top. So if we went with something like that, let's go back to modeling, and you know, that just sort of dulls the reflections a little bit too, so it looks a little bit more like just a hard surface. Let's bring in a camera, and I kind of like that view for now. So I'm just going to go Control-Alt-0 to bring my camera there. Hit N, come to view, and sort of lock the camera to view, and to close that. I'll hit the home button to maximize, and I'll zoom out, and then, you know, say, okay, look, my first sort of test render is going to be there. Might not like that reflection there. It might be too much, but okay, let's see. Walkway, if I do that. Okay, so these are the other walkway instances. Let's just come up here, and I've got this stuff on. That's great. For my render, I'm going to go over to 200. And my size, I don't need it super big right now, so let's just go, I'll go 80. I think everything else can pretty much stay the same. I'll do a test render. We'll see what it looks like right now. Okay, that's what it looks like right now from that position with that texture there. I think it looks nice. I hope you think it looks nice. Yeah, we got that. Let's do some other angles. Let's try this. Just mess around. Let's try that. All right. Clean and simple. Nothing special. What else can we do? Just a kind of a view. You know, make sure that I can see the lights. I don't have to see the whole thing. Yeah, let's just do it from there. I think you get the point. And it's not too high poly. It's not really game ready type thing, but we're just modeling and having fun here. There we go. So we got our main walkway with our great lights underneath, some kind of a, you know, work panel under there with a handle. We've got our railing here. We've got our warning stripes and our lights. And that is our SciFi Walkway Type 1. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video series, and we'll come back with more of this sci-fi modeling stuff.